welcome that investment in that there is going to be, rapid investment in the ESB networks. But again, I would say it's about how and where this is spent and how it relates to the rest of government policy. I'm going to talk particularly about my own area and securing the supply in parts of the northwest, which is an area that's been most severely affected by outages over the last 12 months. So it means in immediate terms that ensuring that power lines are clear of possible disruption from falling trees. Leitrim is one of the most over-forested counties in the state, with 20.1% of land area planted with forestry in 2022. I brought up this many times here in the Shannon that the over-reliance on shallow-rooted giant sitka spruce as a cash crop has caused social, economic and environmental problems, most immediately evident to the rest of the country through the disruption caused by Storm Star at the end of 2024, Storm Amy just last month, and most devastatingly, which you spoke about yourself, Storm Owen, which caused 768,000 customers to lose power on the 24th of January. But by the 11th of February, nearly 3 weeks later, there were still 200 homes without power, mainly in Leitrim, Roscommon and Galway. But then to line up with government policy, I suppose, and having some kind of cross-departmental response to this, a Leitrim Observer article recently reported then that Minister Healy-Rae was advocating the planting of Christmas trees under power lines. The rationale that he said behind this is that these would be harvested before they become big enough to pose a threat to the power lines. However, many of your own colleagues and Leitrim County Council pointed out how flawed this plan was. Councillor Paddy O'Rourke, Fianna Fáil councillor, for instance, said that 25 years ago enough Christmas trees had been planted to satisfy demand from a population of 20 million. These trees have now gone to maturity, and if they're under our power line, they pose a threat. Another Sinn Féin councillor also raised the same issue, where problematic forestry, where again trees have been planted where there was use in problematic forestry have been cleared earlier this year. So we can spend as much money as we like in upgrading the ESB infrastructure, but unless we address a simple measure such as not planting trees underneath power lines, we're not really taking this seriously. And we know this more than ever in the northwest. The other element that I would like to address very briefly is the growth of data centres. Just like my colleague here, Senator Collins, said beside me, they're using so much electricity that we are way off meet our legally binding climate targets of reducing reliance on fossil fuels by 50% by 2030. Data centres currently use 1/5 of all electricity, which are projected to use up to 1/3 within the next few years. So the pace of the growth of data centres is outstripping the work that we're doing towards the building of renewables. Data centres are using all of the additional green energy we've generated over the last number of years, needing nothing else for society. We have upgrade projects in the northwest, my area, like the North-South Interconnector, the North Connaught project, and the Flagford Sligo Capacity Needs project. These should be all prioritised. These should be all to make our grid stable for healthcare and residential customers, and for facilitate connections for newly constructed domestic dwellings. And they shouldn't be used to prioritise the building of more data centres. It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Like, the growth in data centres means that we are failing to decarbonise. We are generating more demand for fossil fuel generated electricity, and if we allow data centres to generate their own power, which has been talked about, and I know, Minister, I've raised this again because we're an area in the northwest that are really concerned about the use of that filthy LNG gas, we're going to compound this further. So, of course, we welcome the investment in the electricity, but we have to we have to make sure that it's going to be work cross-departmental. And if money can be spent wisely, and that, when it chimes in accords with our own stated climate policy and our climate obligations that we are obliged to fulfil. Thank you.